Hi and welcome to my channel if you are new, and welcome back if you have visited before. My name is Angela. I enjoy lots of crafts and making lots of crafts, knitting, crocheting, sewing, bead weaving, wire wrapping, and much more. And I am also an herbalist and a small business owner. I own a small vegan apothecary online. If you're interested in what I make and what I sell, I will leave the link in the description box. And today I wanted to share everything about my fall/winter projects that I have already casted on or would like to cast on soon. And yeah, let's start. The one that I have already casted and have worked on the most, and the reason why is because it will be part of my Halloween costume. I have seen this on somebody else's podcast, and I am really sorry. I don't know who it was, but I wish I could give you a shout out. I'm sorry, but brilliant idea. And I was like, oh gosh, I have one of those. So this is actually a ramen bowl, and it has 2 holes for your chopsticks that you can insert and then rest them on the notch on the other side. And this bowl is absolutely perfect to hold your yarn while you're working on your project. So I've been doing that since I have seen that mentioned. And I do not have the skeins anymore, but I do have the labels, and I also have the video of the skeins before I roll them up. So this is Cascade Yarns. Their yarn is Heritage. It is 75% superwash merino wool and 25% nylon. It is a sock yarn. It is a fingering weight yarn, and it made in India, but Cascade Yarns is from Seattle, Washington. Not sure how that works. Here is that label. And my red is color number 5607. And my white, which is not all in your face white, but it's not also creamy white. It's a really nice color. And the red is not really Christmassy red or orangey red. It's a nice saturated cool tone red, and the white is 5682. And this project is going to be part of my Halloween costume. It is knee-high or thigh-high stocking in red and white stripes. And my costume is going to be a witch costume, all black, black hat, black top, and black skirt. And if you have seen the movie Practical Magic, you know that the last scene when they jump off the roof, you can see their stockings. They're red and white striped. So this is inspired by the movie. One thing to say about this yarn, it is a little fuzzy, and the fuzz, it's creating, I do think, it's really hard to see on camera, but it's almost, especially on the heel, and especially because I had to do the heel twice. So this yarn has been worked once, and I frogged it, and I have worked it again. It almost is felting. I don't know. I am not a huge, I like the halo. I like that it has a little bit of a fuzzy look. See, you can't even, you might see it right there. Not sure. I am pretty sure this yarn will peel quite fast. But that's okay. I don't think these socks I will be wearing on a daily basis. They will be literally just part of my costume. And if I really like them and if they're really comfortable, I might buy a different yarn and make them again. So the pattern that I am using, it's a free pattern on Ravelry. The pattern is called Stupendously Striped Stockings by Christy, Barrett, and I will add all the projects that I will mention today in the description down below. And this pattern, it calls for fingering weight yarn and circular needles 2.25 millimeter or US size 1 with 36 circular needles, but I am working on DPNs. I am not a huge fan of a magic loop. I tried it. Maybe I should try it again and be a little bit more persistent, or maybe not. Maybe I should just stick with what I like and what I know. And I do like working on DPNs whenever I work in a round, unless it's a top. So anytime I work in a round with a small circumference, I do prefer DPNs. And what else can I tell you? So originally this pattern is made for scrappy yarn. So there are scrappy socks, and they are worked toe up, and they call for Judy's Magic Loop method, including cast on. And it has been quite challenging. So if you are using DPNs, the 2 tips that I can give you: use 2 DPNs at first instead of 4, and cast 5 and 5 stitches. So the pattern calls for 10 stitches to begin with. So you cast 5 and 5. And when you work the first round, knit through the back loop. Okay. It has been quite challenging, again, because of the yarn. So because the yarn is a little fuzzy, I was having, and it splits also a little bit. I had a hard time seeing the stitches or seeing the loops very well. It made even the heel a little challenging, and that's another thing. So the pattern calls for short row heel, but I did try that and I did not like it, and I have a video, and it made huge holes on each side where there is the point of the heel right here. There's still a little bit of a gap on both sides, and my first in a round after I did finish the heel, so my first row in the round with white yarn, I did the first and the last stitch before the heel and the first stitch after the heel, I knitted it in the row below just to tighten it a little bit more, and it's still not perfect. So I'm kind of working on how to mitigate that gap there, but I do love the shadow wrap heel, and I love the video that I used to learn it, and I will add that in the description box below too. What else can I tell you? So what I do like about this yarn, that even if it is a merino wool, it has a rustic feel to it. It has a little bit of a scratchiness, so I wouldn't use it for anything that has a lot of skin contact. Socks are perfect. And yeah, I will keep you updated about the peeling and felting situation. Okay, so that's my first project that I wanted to share with you. And I think I did share everything about the pattern. It is for, it's not necessarily size inclusive. So she starts with 10 stitches. Oh, so actually the magic loop method, it casts 20 stitches in total, 10 on each needle. Sorry, I got that wrong. And then you increase up to 30 stitches on each side, which would be 60 stitches in total. And then you work up to 7 inches, up to 7 inches, and then you make your heel, and then you keep going up the leg. And then when you get to the calf, she explains 2 ways, one for a little bit of a wider calf and one for a thinner calf. So I do believe so that she made these socks for herself, and she's quite a petite girl. Let me see, there is a photo of her right here, and then she probably just shared the pattern, which is great. I'm very grateful. I was looking for something like this and I was having a hard time finding one, and I will keep you updated how this keeps going. Me recover my needle on the floor. Okay. That's my first project that I have already casted. Let me share more. Another project that I have already casted is Camisole number 4. And I don't have much because, like I said, I'm focusing on my stockings. I want to make sure that I make it before the end of October. I have another market coming up, which is going to be October 31st on Halloween. And my husband and I were both going to go and dress up. So I'm going to be a witch and he's going to be a knight, should I say? I don't know. If he allows me share some videos, I will show you next time. He's going to have the same costume he had for the Renaissance Festival, just fantasy. I think he looks like a witcher. He doesn't think so, but I will leave it up to him and up to you. So this is how much I have. So the camisole number 4 is worked in 4 different parts, at first, and it's worked top down. Sorry, I got some fuzzies on my face. You do one front, second front with provisional cast on. You add the two fronts together, you do a few rows, and then you do a tiny one for the back, right, back, left, and then you start working in the round. And when you're finished with the length of the top, you do the shoulder straps. This is a yarn that I bought in Georgetown. I might have a video of the skein that I can add, or at least the picture. It was a gorgeous, gorgeous skein. And it is this yarn from Knit Pro, Symphony hand-dyed yarns. And this is Terra. It is extra fine merino wool and 25% polyamide. It is a fingering weight yarn, 100 grams, 400 meters, and 438 yards. And what else? That's it. I think it's made in India. Here is the label. And here is the ball of yarn. And like I said, I hope it is incredibly soft. Gorgeous, soft. And funny enough, I was browsing on Amazon today and I found this exact yarn from a different brand. And do let me know if you're interested in it. I can link it down below if you're interested. Anyway, it is beautiful, and I think that it's knitting up very nicely. I really, really, really like the colors, and this is going to be pretty much like under other clothes for the winter, just a little tank top to keep me warm, just for layering. And I really like the pattern. I'm not sure if I have enough for the length that I want, but that's in tomorrow's Angela problem, honestly. Okay, that's another one. And the last project that I have already casted, if you want to know a little bit more actually about the Camisole number 4, it is a pattern on Reverly. If you try to buy it, it will take you to her website. All right, so Louise is behind My Favorite Things Knitwear, and this will be my second Camisole number 4. The first one, I finished it. I made it in cotton, much thicker cotton, much thicker yarn than the pattern calls for. The pattern calls for fingering weight yarn, and that was a little thicker. And I also didn't have much, so it came out quite cropped. I haven't really worn it since I finished it, and I don't know if I will. I might give it to someone. I don't know. Anyway, the pattern calls for fingering weight yarn and needle size 3.5 millimeters or US size 4, and the sizes are available from extra small to extra, extra large. Yeah, so that's about my Camisole number 4. And my last pattern that I have already casted on, oh, I think it's right here. Nope. Oh, I see it. And this one is a free pattern from Drops Design. And it's a sweater called Aster. And the size is from 6 to triple extra large, and it calls for 6mm needles and worsted weight yarn. I am using yarn that I have bought in Salem. This is 100% merino wool. It is super squishy and soft, and the color is absolutely gorgeous. I like that it's not necessarily uniform. Even if I have bought all the yarn from the same dye lot, there were 2 skeins that were quite lighter than all the other yarn, and I am saving those to use for the sleeves. This is, I already said that worsted. Okay, and it requires 5mm needles, but the pattern calls for 6mm needles, and I have made a tiny little swatch. I know, who am I? I don't usually do swatches, and I didn't do 4x4 for sure. I did just a few rows I wanted to see, because I was considering a couple different patterns, and I wanted to see how the yarn is going to look worked with different sizes of needles. And I tried 6, and I think it was way too loose, and I tried 5, and it was way too tight. So I settled on 5.5, and like I said, the pattern calls for 6, and the pattern is also worked in pieces. So it's the front, the back, and the sleeve separately, and then everything sewn together. And what I'm doing, I'm modifying it a little bit, and I haven't gone very far, honestly. This is all I have. That's my first shoulder. And what I did, I love the stitch pattern and the stitch definition with this yarn. And like I said, it's 5.5. What I did, so I did provisional cast on here, and I am going to do provisional cast on the other shoulder. I am going to go and get to the point where they're supposed to be knitted together, which would be, if you were working in a round, which would be under the armholes. And then I am going to undo the provisional cast on, and now I'm going to pick up stitches for the front, one and the other side, and work until the armholes, and then knit in a round, and then do the sleeves separately, sew them on to the rest. Yeah, the entire sweater is worked in a broken rib stitch with a little bit of a, I don't even know if I should call it lace, but with a little bit of a stitch pattern up front. Yeah, I will keep you updated how this will go. And I think usually I do, and I didn't do it this time. I'm not even sure which size I have picked, but I think I picked the medium size. It doesn't, oh, the only thing that it gives you is, yeah, and the medium size, maybe small. Maybe I did small. And the small size is 108 centimeters chest circumference finished, which would be 18 centimeters positive ease for me, because my chest circumference is 90 centimeters, and I will keep you updated how that is going when I knit a little bit more on that. Okay, then I will tell you all about the projects that I want to cast on, that I either have yarn for already or I would like to make before the end of the winter. Number one, and this is another pattern that it's free on Reverly. It is Cloudburst by Arienne Gray. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing any names wrong. I'm really sorry. It is these gorgeous gloves, and I have fingering weight yarn for that one. It's right here, and I have a little close-up video. This is also from Georgetown, from my trip to Georgetown. It is also from Knit Pro Symphony. It's the same yarn as the one that I'm using for my camisole number 4. It's just a different color. And this is the one, actually. This is Autumn Rose. And let me tell you what the other color is. That is Bonnie Blooms. It's kind of cute. Okay. And the gloves, they're calling for fingering or sports weight yarn. What you need is 154 yards, and I have 438 yards. But what I want to do, I want to make the cuff that goes up your wrist much longer, and I also want to make a cuff up here that it's longer and can be folded over. So in case it's way too cold, you can unfold it and cover your fingers too. And the circumference of the finished measurements is 17 centimeters and the length is 21 centimeters, or circumference is 6.8 inches and the length is 8.4 inches. And the needles, 2.5 US size or 3mm needles. Yeah, so I will tell you a lot about this when I have made some progress and after I cast them on. Next project, and I have to admit, I usually know what I have. And then my yarn stash isn't that big. It's literally here, and that's summer and winter yarn. I have a couple more bowls of the Kubo over there, but that's about it. I totally forgot I had this yarn that I have bought at Joann's before they closed down. This is a bulk weight yarn. It is bulky weight yarn. It is superwash merino, and I have a close-up again, a video that I can insert here. And what I really want to make with this, because I only have this one skein, I want to make a cowl, and I can't wait. So for a while now, I think that my streak is about 40 days, maybe 45, something like that. I come back from work and I go for a walk, and the length of the walk depends on how many steps I got in at work, because every day I try to make minimum 10,000 steps. And the weather is changing, and the last few times that I went for a walk, I live in Colorado right now, and it can get really windy. And last few walks, I have been really craving to have something to cover my neck. And when I was going through my stash and making plans for fall and winter, I found this that I didn't remember that I had. And I definitely want to make a nice warm cowl. I don't think I will be using any crazy stitches. The yarn is so beautiful, and I think just either stockinette or what I was thinking, not necessarily broken rib, but I'm not sure what the stitch would be called, but if you do know, please let me know. So you do rib stitch on one row, and then when you turn, or when you do the second row, you knit a purl stitch and you purl the knit stitch, and then the next row you do the same thing, so they keep alternating. I quite like that stitch, and I think that that's the most that I want to do with this yarn, just to make it shine, because it's beautiful. Okay, next one, and this pattern is already in my cart on Ravelry with this one, and this is another yarn that I have bought on my trip to Salem. It is the Circulo Luna 100% superwash merino wool. It is also super soft. And this is the color black, or 8990. And I have two skeins, and I want to make the Ophelia tank top. And it might be a tank, it might be a t-shirt. I am not sure. If I can get away with making long sleeve, I don't think I do. But if I can, with the yarn that I have, should be lovely. Don't think it's, because this pattern can be worked in 3 different ways. You can do a tank top, you can do a t-shirt, or long sleeve, and it has a little bit of a fishtail sleeve, which I really like too. And it calls for a fingering weight yarn, 2.75 millimeter needle, or US size 2, and the yardage, of course, because there's 3 different variations, it's hard to tell. It's 525 to 2,600 yards, and I think I want to do a little bit of a positive ease. I don't think I want it skin tight, and I will keep you updated whenever I cast that. And what I could also do, not seeing it, looks, see, this yarn is very deceiving. Some parts, because it has so much shine, some parts look darker than the others. Definitely alternating this yarn row by row for sure. That's that. What else is in my stash? Oh yeah, this is another yarn I have bought in Georgetown. This is, again, the Knit Pro. This is Luna. This is a DK weight yarn, and it is it's 75% merino and 25% silk. It's nice and soft, and this pattern has been in my cart for a long time. This is the sommerknus top by Elsebeth Judith. It is knit. The pattern calls for fingering and cobweb yarn held together to create sports wet yarn, which is then worked with 4mm and 5mm needles, which are US size 6 and 8. The sizes available are extra small to double extra large. And yeah, this pattern also can be worked in a t-shirt, so it makes short sleeve shirts or long sleeve for a sweater. And I will add pictures, and of course I will add a link in my description box for it. I only have 2 skeins and a bit, and I talked about this before. The lady in the shop was so nice, and she gave me a little bit that she had left from her project. And I think that we are pretty much at the end. I have this yarn, which is a little bit of a mystery. The only thing that I have with it, the label says that it's 100% wool. It is an Italian yarn that I had left over from when I lived there. And I think I might make the cardigan that I wanted to make for summer, which is the Yarden cardigan, or I may make the Felix cardigan. I do believe so. I held it against a DK, and I held it against worsted weight yarn, and I do think that this is more of a worsted weight yarn than it is DK. And the Felix cardigan calls for Arienne weight to 6mm and 5mm needle. I think this, and I will try. Okay, I'm starting to make swatches, so I don't regret my choices. So I might make few rows with 5mm needles and see. So I will try 4 and I will try 5, and I will see which one is better. I do want to make cardigan, at least one for the winter, because I want something cute and I don't have a cute cardigan. Yeah, that's it. There's a whole bunch of other patterns that I would love to make in my cart. I also have some yarn in my cart from the wool company, and that would be for the Cumulus blouse. I also really want to make a shawl. I want to make a shawl from yarn that changes color, and I might insert a picture of the yarn that I have in mind. I saw that yarn and I really want to make a nice big shawl with those colors. And I think that's it for right now. It's a lot, and you would think that I live somewhere where the winter lasts about 10 months minimum, but it doesn't. And it just started, the temperatures just started to drop. But I'm going to take this and I'm going to cast the cowl tonight. Maybe it would be a great TV project. Honestly, everything that I am working on right now needs my attention. I don't have a mindless knit on my needles right now, and I'm really craving one. I keep thinking about casting on another blanket, but no, I don't need a blanket project in my life right now. I want something that I can see the finish line for. And this would be it. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for making it this far. If you have made it this far, please share with me if you have knitted any of the patterns that I have mentioned, and please do share with me your plans. I would love to know. Do you have a cardigan or a sweater that calls for worsted weight yarn that would look good? I'm not even sure that I like this color, but I have it, so I might as well try it. And yeah, I hope that until next time, your life is filled with happiness, and it would make me very, very happy if you subscribe to my channel, if you like this video. And thank you so much for being here and spending your time with me. Bye.